preferably brunette. Yeah, so I mean, this is just an insult to America. It's an insult to all the other women on stage. It's an insult to all women, period. It's an insult to God because you're sitting here saying, look at this beautiful woman. Woman is a creation of God, the same way man is. It's a lie. It's just it's really depressing. Let's look at some of the comments in here. There are no words. Beauty pageants still exist. So like this is how soft America is. There are some people who just want to ban beauty pageants because they feel like they put too much of an emphasis on looks. Like humans have always cared about looks. From like as long as recorded history goes back, people wrote down the words. And such was the most beautiful woman in the city. And such was the most beautiful woman at the fair or the carnival or in the White House. Like people notice attractive people. That's not a crime. That's not unfair. I will say there's actually some really shady stuff, though, that happens in beauty pageants when it comes to the children. One of the reasons people want beauty pageants banned is because young women, I'm talking like before they're even teens, start getting pushed into competing in these pageants, and it can be really tough on their self-esteem and their image and stuff because, you know, from a very young age, you're sitting there telling them, hey, the thing that's most important about you is the way you look. But listen, that's like, it's not true in that it's not the most important thing about you, but it is true. We know this just based on the scientific data that people who are objectively more attractive, meaning they have symmetric features, they keep themselves healthy, they have straight smiles, like these are all things you can measure and that we know aren't opinions. People who fall into that category, who score well on all those objective attributes, they tend to have higher lifetime earnings, meaning they get jobs with high-paying salaries more easily. They tend to have longer and more successful marriages because they attract people who want to stay with them longer term. They're just treated better everywhere they go, frankly. Better looking people are. And so that's why you should try to be one of them. Like, this isn't rocket science, and it's not even offensive. If you want to be treated well, try to optimize the way you look. That's what, you know, why we talk a lot about aesthetics and stuff like that when we answer the fitness related questions, because you're making your life easier and it pays dividends in many categories of your life, whether you're talking about your professional career, your love life, your self-confidence, which spills over into your mental health. There's a lot of advantages to making yourself look good. It's a lot of work, I will say that. You know, of course it's true that some people are just genetically gifted. You know, they wake up and they have like perfectly stick straight hair and they never even needed braces. They just have these perfect straight teeth. And, you know, look, yeah, some people hit the genetic lottery, but I know for myself, before I got into the fitness days and before I started really trying to, you know, be more responsible with the way I treated myself, I didn't look anywhere near as handsome or whatever you want to say, because I'm not an idiot. Like, what I really don't like are fake people who you can be sitting there talking to a model and they'll pretend like they don't know that they're attractive. Like, oh, that's so nice, but I don't see myself that way. It's this like false virtuousness that just don't lie to people. Like, there's a very simple fact in life, and that is speak the truth. That's why is the name of this channel Beholden to Truth? Because I'm always going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to hold back. It's going to be offensive. It's going to hurt feelings. Plenty of people won't want to follow me. That's fine. But just saying something such as improving the way you look is going to make your life substantially better. That's the truth. Lookism is bad. Bando, why do you feel that way, man? I'm addicted to this stuff. I've probably had a rock star every morning for the last few hundred mornings. I never miss it. It's my version of coffee. I really don't like the way coffee fucks up with your breath, and it's tough on your teeth as well. So yeah, beauty pageants, people say we're pushing young girls to think that all that matters is the way they look, but that's not that different because look, soon as they start going to school, the moment these children start going to middle school and higher, they're going to be introduced immediately to the fact that how you look is going to determine who your social circle is and many of the different ways you succeed in life. Treating somebody based on how they look is not good. What do I think of that? I don't think you should treat somebody negatively based on how they look. That being said, the way somebody looks is demonstrative of their work ethic. It's demonstrative of their discipline. It's demonstrative of the sacrifices they make when they're not around you. I mean, for example, there is no way to walk around at, between 5 and 10% body fat. So you have a nice chiseled face. And if you take your shirt off, you have, a really attractive body and all this other crap. There's no way to do that without significant amount of discipline, work ethic, and sacrifice every day of your life. So when somebody walks up to you and you see that they have those features, that chiseled face, and they got the bicep vein popping down here, and they got these big broad shoulders, that's how they look, right? We're talking about how they look. But what you know based on how they look is that they behave a certain way. People's looks illustrate their behavior. And so that's very important information for you to know. Whenever you're creating a new contact with somebody, whether it's a friend, coworker, whatever, how they look is the advertisement for how they behave. And you need to know how people behave because they'll sit there and behave one way in front of you. They'll sit there and tell you how much of work ethic they have, how hard they work, how disciplined they are. But if they're telling you all these things and they're 225 pounds, obese, with, terrible facial acne, where it's clear that they're not taking care of themselves. Yet they're sitting there lying to you saying, oh yeah, I work hard and all this other crap. I know you don't. I know for a fact you don't, that you're not putting forth anywhere near as much effort as I am, at least. And so then for those same people who say, oh, treating me different based on how I look is not fair. Well, what's happening here is you're getting treated differently based on the level of work you're doing. You do a different level of work, you get treated differently. So you'll see that in romantic relationships where, like, I'm at the point now where I honestly just can't date somebody who isn't lean and doesn't go and exercise at least several times a week. I don't really care what form of exercise they do, whether it's, with me in the gym doing like bodybuilding or strength training. They can do CrossFit if they want. I'm not a fan of CrossFit, but it's a good way to at least stay active. Maybe they go hiking, maybe they go running. It doesn't really matter to me, but at this point in my life, I can't even be attracted to people who aren't physically active. And so when somebody is obese, so let's just say it's a female, and they're mad because I'm not attracted to them, it's like, okay, but just looking at you, I know that you don't have any of the same levels of work ethic and discipline that I do. And so this isn't going to work. It's just not going to work. So it's just something to think about. I'm not sitting here saying that You should go around being mean to people based on how they look, but you shouldn't feel guilty about treating somebody differently because they look a way that is not attractive to you. Like, it is what it is. And the thing is these liberals will try to guilt trip you about that. I mean, this is funny. In America, we're trying to fight back this ridiculous transgender movement where we now have full-grown adult men walking around pretending to be women, getting their balls chopped off, and then they guilt trip you if you say you're not attracted to them as they pretend to be a woman. Like, I am a real woman. Like, no, you're not. First of all, you don't have ovaries. You can't reproduce. And so in complete clown world, we now have fake women trying to say that if you, a biological man, don't want to date them, that means you're transphobic or homophobic or some kind of bigot for not wanting to have sex and marry another man who has had his balls chopped off. That's the world we live in. That's why people call me a bigot, because I call that out and I'm like, that's just absolutely absurd. Go fuck yourself. Kill yourself, for that matter. Like, you're clearly not aligned with my values. You're not aligned with the values of this country. We have to return to the family unit. And the family unit does not have a place for one gender pretending to be the other gender. We both have very clear roles. The man is the protector, the provider. The woman is the home care, what do they call that? Make sure the kids are well fed and behaving well and learning real versions of history. Like, homeschool is the way to go on that subject. The ideal goal here is you as a man take accountability for making sure your wife and your children are provided for and safe. That is your job. And your wife's job is to make sure the kids are taken care of while you're out doing all of that. And she has been gifted by God unique advantages that men don't have to do that job. And likewise, men have been gifted unique advantages to be providers and protectors that women don't have. That's why it works. That's why it's worked for thousands of fucking years. Yet in America, it's not a fluke. It's not like a random fluke of evolution where we decided, maybe we should try this other method out. And, maybe we'll shockingly find out that it's better when women are the providers and the protectors and men stay home and raise the kids. That was not accidental. That was not evolution. That is an orchestrated attack on America and the family unit by the Jew mafia pushing these postmodern gender ideology satanic beliefs.